Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. We are live once again, and the Springboks are off to a absolute flyer of a game. 40 points to 9 was the score earlier. A bit of a messy performance maybe, but the point is the score line was fairly decent and a couple of decent individual performances. Probably a little bit sketchy, as I said, probably a little bit sloppy compared to probably what we would have liked to have seen. But you know what? We'll take what we can get. The important thing was the Springboks were back. We managed to navigate a tricky week after a couple of COVID tests inside the camp. So it was a bit of sort of nerves at the beginning of the week whether this game was actually going to happen, whether we were going to see this. So I think the important thing is the fact that we got there, we got the game done, and we are sitting here smiling with the victory. So something a little bit different tonight. First time we're actually doing this, which is quite exciting. But we're going to be doing a player ratings show, which means we're going to go through the entire lineup, and we're going to be giving them a rating 1 through to 10. So right there, we'll give you a little bit of time to vote. It's pinned in the description there. So there's the link over there. So go to the link right now and go get voting. And let's see what you have to say. So I'm going to give you a bit of time so that you can sort of go and vote and get that sorted, and then I'll go through my voting and stuff like that. We can discuss it and stuff like that. I don't think anyone was particularly shocking. I think Elton Jantjies struggled when he came on. Looked like he was trying to do a little bit too much sometimes. It is kind of the problem with him, is that sometimes in trying to always impress and trying to sort of be that spark all the time, he can sometimes be guilty of sometimes sort of overdoing it a little bit. So yeah, it's probably one of the worst performances I've seen from him. I thought Marvin Orie didn't offer too much when he came off the bench. Certainly didn't really play himself into a Springbok starting place, for example. But apart from that, I think there were some good performances. I mean, obviously, Up to their Fasty is going to be the big one. We're going to see what he's going to get. I thought Khaleesi was very hard working and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it'll just be nice to sort of reflect. And we're going to be doing this for the entire Lions tour. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I wanted to, it's something you can't do without an audience. We can't do this if nobody's voting. So what happens is when you put in your vote, you'll see it comes up with an average score. So it's all that you guys are voting. It's everything that you guys are saying. That'll be what the average is. So I didn't really want to do a show where it's just me rating the players, because that's just one opinion. Whereas if you can try and get a bit of a community, we can try and get lots of people voting and stuff like that, then it becomes a little bit more exciting. It's also something I want to try and use the Discord for a bit more. We've had Discord for a while. I haven't really used it. I've been really sort of struggling to try and get it going. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet. It was something we just started off the bat, and a couple of people have actually joined it. And I actually feel a bit bad because I don't think we've used it a lot. I'm actually going to put in our Discord right now. Rate the Springboks. But hopefully this will be something that will be quite cool, something a little bit different. We're always trying to find how we can be different. I don't want to just be the same, sort of doing the same thing. So we kind of do a bit of research and find out what other people are doing in and around the world with other sports and stuff like that, and try and do something here. So this is hopefully something which I think will be quite a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that it'll be something that can grow and we can really sort of get into it. So as I say, I sound like I'm waffling. I just want to try and give everybody a bit of time to go and vote, so that when I actually vote, there'll be more than just 3 or 4 votes. So please, right now, go and vote. Share the link with your friends. Share it with your family. Let's try and get as many people voting as possible. Obviously, this is the first show, so it'll be a little bit messy, and we won't have as many votes as you wanted to do. I actually wasn't going to do this, so I actually had to spend half an hour just quickly setting it all up. So tomorrow will be a little bit more organized. We'll make sure that the Lions and the British and Irish Lions voting setup is all set up and stuff like that. Make sure all the players are all ready and stuff like that. Maybe we can make sure we can all have the right photos and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the whole idea of this channel is for the fans, by the fans, So we want to make sure it's very interactive. So we want to make sure that, and it's not about me and telling people what to do. It's not about me saying this is what I want to do. It's all about getting the fan voice. And so I'm hoping through like rating shows and more fan forums. We want to try and get you people on the stream. We want to try and get people who are watching week in, week out. They can jump on the screen and they can come here and we can just talk about rugby, because that's where my passion is. I really I'm a trained journalist, but I really enjoy engaging with people. I love sitting with a beer and just chatting sport and stuff like that. So that's why the live stream tonight was absolutely phenomenal. That's what we've been trying to get to. We kind of had a taste of it during the Curry Cup final. We had quite a nice live stream, but often it's, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy the other ones, but when it's sort of 20, 30 people and it's kind of just 3 or 4 of us chatting, and it's great because I've got to know some really cool people, and there's some like really good regulars on the show. But it's really nice tonight seeing different people discovering the channel, other people chipping in, and when the comment section start chatting with each other, that's like what really, really gets me going. So thank you if you're here from the live show. We've got so much content coming up. So this is just the beginning of the tour. I mean, the tour hasn't even begun for the Lions tour, but we're aiming for some big things. But let's see who's hanging up here. So we've got Edwin Reed who said, "What's up? Hello, Edwin. Honey Nell, Elton Jantjies cost us 3 tries. Yeah, we'll get to him. Elton Jantjies rating -10, maybe a little bit harsh." Tien van den Berg says, "Peace to the tour and see a like work rate incarnate." Grant Swaz, "I like this player rating live stream." Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be quite cool. I hope it'll be a lot of fun. Oh, man, Stephen, you're a legend for doing this. Thank you very much. The live stream really brought a lot of subs to the channel. Yeah, we're over 2,000. We are officially over 2,000. I couldn't in my wildest dreams have thought we would have grown this quickly. It really has been incredible to see the growth that in such a short space of time. I mean, I said we've been going for, the first video we uploaded was about 11th of July last year. So we've been, but we didn't really do much after that. So we've been going consistently since about September or October. We've been going with the live stream since about October, December. So the fact that we're over 2,000 is amazing. And hopefully we can just continue growing. But I'm hoping I've given everybody enough chance to go and vote, stuff like that. I see there's about 10 or 11 people on the website at the moment having a vote. But yeah, so let's just talk about the game in general. I think that it was a very, very rusty performance. I think we saw quite a lot of things that we probably expected. I think we expected it to be very rusty. We expected them not to necessarily gel together very well, and they didn't. So I wouldn't say I'm unbelievably surprised at the performance. I think that it was always going to take us a while to get going, and I think that's exactly what happened. But I think that there were some nice moments, and a big scrum performance, and some big individual performance there. I think the set piece worked very well. We didn't lose. I think we lost one line out. We didn't lose a single scrum. Our tackle percentage probably needs to come up a little bit. I also think that certain players had a chance today and maybe didn't take it, because I think that we've got a lot of players who still need to come in. I mean, there's no Cheslin Colby tonight. There was no Michael Little Pimpy tonight. There was no Lekanya tonight. There was no Harkias Neyman and Leo Dialga. There was no Fat de Klerk. There were a lot of players missing. So it was a nice opportunity for some players to get a chance. But as I said, I think there were certain players who haven't done themselves a lot of good. I think somebody like Marvin Ori, for example, I just thought he was pretty average. I think when you think of the quality of locks, he's got so much. He's got a big task ahead of him anyway to try and shift those locks. So good luck to him. But credit to Georgia. I thought Georgia were very impressive. I thought that we were. They provided the perfect test. We wanted to be tested tonight, and we really were. I think if it wasn't for that yellow card, which really gave us a foothold into the game, I would have been interested to see what Georgia could have done, because they were matching us man for man, and the set pieces were going well for Georgia. That first 20 minutes, I thought they looked like a proper test match side. That they were exiting very nicely. They were they had some nice distribution. They had some nice carries. They were quite good at the racks and stuff. They were quite proficient. Very impressed with a 15-year-old for Georgia. I think how cool is that to be 18-year-old playing against the world champions? We said it quite a few times in the live stream, but I still think it's fantastic for him, and I think that experience will be massive. Also, we've got the post-match interviews that are currently uploading, so they will be uploaded before I go to bed. I'm going to put Apele Fassi and Franco Mostert up tonight, and I'm going to have Jacques Nienaber and Sia Khaleesi tomorrow morning, first thing. Unfortunately, a little bit of an issue with the recording for those two, so we've got some of it. I'm going to try and get the entire thing though. But we will get Apele Fassi and Franco Mostert up. Fassi just reflecting on his debut and scoring a try, and what was a dream debut for him, and we'll get to rate exactly how good we thought his debut was. And Jacques Nienaber said, next week he's not going to try new things. He's going to put the better. He's going to, at the end of the day, he said he always wants to put the strongest team out available. And so next week, expect if Cheslin Colby's fit, he'll play. If Lekanya Ama's fit, he'll play. If Makazuluma Pimpy's is fit, he'll play. In theory, that's the theory. That's what Jacques Nienaber's trying to say. I, for one, would be tempted to see a couple of other faces. I'd like to see Jasper Wiese start. I'd like to see I'd almost like to see Damian Willemse at inside centre. You know, I think Damien Delindi, if he's not really next week, I'd like to see Damian Willemse get around at inside centre. Or else I'd like to see Elton Jantjies at flower half and Andre Pollard at inside centre, because we seem to be using that double playmaker quite a lot today. You know, with where we had Franz Steyn first receiver, Andre Pollard second receiver, and then Jesse Creel, where the kind of ball just stopped every time. So I think next week, as much as they want to put out a really good side and be as strong as possible, I think there's certainly a little bit of room to try and experiment. There's also obviously the SAA game. And the SAA game, I want to see newbies. I want to see Timolani. I want to see Fassi. I want to see Speckman. I want to see Jasper Wiese. I want to see the Depreers. I want to see Joseph Dwebe. Those are some big names that I really, really want to see in that SAA game, because you need to try and blood them and give them a chance against what will be it'll be a good British and Irish line side by then. They'll kind of be tweaking and getting close to their final squad. But yeah, I think we've got quite a few people who seem to have voted, so we can get going that. Unfortunately, we're trying to add on to this so that we can eventually see how many people have actually voted. I think we're sitting at about 30 or 40 based on the web analytics at the moment for the last couple of minutes, stuff like that. But yeah, let's have a go, shall we? Let me pull it up. Oh my goodness, that's the wrong tab. Right, so there we go. We're going up to Ox in chair, who's number 1. So, an interesting game for Ox. I thought it was quite a difficult task for him to immediately right up front. Let me just make it a little bit smaller. He was up against a very powerful Georgian scrum, and I think that the replacements came on and made a big difference, which I think probably speaks to a certain amount of the initial front row struggling a little bit. I thought Ox, his scrum managing is the worst part of his game. Unfortunately, it's just the sad reality. He's brilliant in the loose, and he didn't get to do that. It was such a tight game today. He didn't really get a lot of space to run. He didn't get to make a lot of tackles as well. His defense is also very solid. But before we sort of actually rate him itself, let's see what everybody's sort of saying here. Henry Liebenberg says, Franz Steyn wasn't too great. Jesse Kriel needs to distribute the ball more. Yeah, we'll talk about them. Ox Chev struggled against the Georgian scrum. Yep, Roscoe and Fassi could have both grabbed doubles if the centers and Alton distributed better. I thought Marvin Ory was okay. Really missed Dale Indian. Yeah, so let's get stuck into it. So Ox and Chev. So the way I kind of sort of go with this, I think that 6 is average. I think 6 is an average performance. I think that 5 is verging on poor. I think 4 is poor. 3 is really bad. 2 is pretty dreadful, and 1 is never wear the Springbok jersey again. Without being crass. And I don't think we've got anybody sitting in the 1, 2, 3s. I think maybe 1, 4, maybe 1 or 2 5s. So I think 6 is I'm going to go 6 is sort of bang average, and I think that bang average is probably about right for Ox. I felt sorry for him, as I said, because I think that he didn't. It's not a game where he could play to his strengths. Look, we didn't lose a scrum, so he didn't really get penalised for the scrum. I mean, it was he got penalised, I think, for the first penalty. But actually, let me and we'll try and make a couple of stats up here and have a look as well, so we can try and not sit there and say that he didn't make a lot of carries when I did make a lot of carries, and maybe we just missed it a little bit. But if we pull up, is this statistics? Where are the statistics? Statistics, here we go. Right, so Oxenshire, he had 3 carries, gaining 4 meters, 1 offload, 2 tackles made, 2 tackles missed, 1 turnover, 1 conceded. I think bang average. I think I'm probably going to flutter around a 6, maybe bridging on 5. He's a little bit nebulous. I don't want to start off being mean. Yeah, I'll go with a 5 for Ox. Let's see what everybody reckons. Hey, there we go. So we all reckon a 5. So that's about right. So I think it's probably below par from Ox, especially from his standards. I've seen better from him. But it wasn't, as I said, it didn't really play to a strength. So I think it's tough to. As I said, I wouldn't drop him. I'd like to see him again next week. But it's one of those things that he struggled a little bit in the front row. Didn't help with Trayvon Yakani coming on and off and Francois Herbert and stuff like that. And as I said, 3 carries. It's his Ox and chair. You've got to give him a lot of ball. You've got to get him fired up. There's a reason he's named Ox. That man is a tank with the ball in hand. You've got to try and get some more space and let him run into it and let him be that big physical ball carrier. But yeah, I'm still expecting big things from him. Bongi Mbonambi. What a player he is, eh? What a player he is. I mean, now you're not going to sit nicely, are you? Alright, fine, we'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying, why is Malcolm Marx not starting? Well, I thought Bongi was very impressive, and I think that Malcolm Marx was also very impressive when they came on. I think it's a very big headache for the coaches to have, where they're going to sit there sitting there, what do we do? And I think the easy question is you give one 50, 40 minutes, you give the other one 40 minutes as well. So Bongi scored a try. He had 6 carries, making 2 tackles, missing 1. He scored a try, 1 clean break, 4 meters gain, 2 passes. I mean, it's always difficult to look at a front row's stats. It's not like he's got thousands of meters gained and all the offloads and stuff like that. But I thought that his set piece was bang on. I thought he carried the ball very well. I thought he was very aggressive when he played. So I'm going to give him a very solid 7, which I think is good. Good. Not phenomenal, not great. Or maybe actually shifting on an 8 maybe. I thought he was one of the better players in the pack. Where are we going with this, people? Where are we going? I'm going to go with 6 for Bongi. I think that he was 6.5. So I probably went a bit low there. I think I was going to go 7. I don't want to go too high, but maybe a 7 would have been a bit fairer. We're sitting in the middle there, so I think I'm about right. Maybe I went a little bit low for good old Bongs, but it's just such a nice problem to have when you're thinking, oh, am I going to play Bongi Manambi? I'm going to play Malcolm Marx. I mean, who's gonna which other nation can sit there and look at that? I mean, the British and Irish Lions I don't even think have that kind of depth at hooker, and that's across 4 nations. Big Trevor. Look, I think the one thing which will not paint Trevor in a particularly good light is the fact that he went off and Francois Herbert came on and immediately won a strut penalty. I thought he carried the ball up quite well. Made 5 carries. Only had to make 1 tackle. He missed a tackle as well. Yeah, I'm kind of bridging on sort of 5s and 6s for the entire starting front row because I thought that they were solid, but nothing particularly special. And if you look at the scrum dominance which came in, look, obviously the second front row also scrums against their second front row or a tired first starting front row. But it is Georgia to a certain degree. I understand that they've got a powerful pack, and we give them a lot of respect, but it is Georgia. We're just not the best pack in the world. And I thought that I would have liked to have seen probably more dominance from the get-go. So I want to go with a solid 6 for Trevor. I think that, he went off with a hit in his head. I'm hoping that that's nothing too serious. I'm going to go with a 6 there. Probably be 6.5, I reckon. Yeah, so we're sitting there. So I'm going a little bit low, maybe. But I'm not worried about Trevor. I think he's just a player. He's just a very good player at the end of the day. The spacing and the zooming is just having a horrible time here. Etzebeth. I thought Etzebeth was pretty poor, to be honest. I thought that he got stuck in a couple of people's faces and he tried to cause a little bit of mayhem and stuff like that, but he got hit back a few times. And I reckon that David Gagauri, his opposite number, actually outplayed him. He made 6 tackles and very, very dominant tackles, I thought. And I thought Konstantin Mikhaudadze was quite quiet. But I thought that man for man, if I had to choose based on that game, I almost would have gone with the Georgian number 4, which I think probably speaks to a pretty poor performance for Evan Etzebeth. Poor by his standards, I expected a lot better from him. He's supposed to be the enforcer. He didn't enforce tonight, which was a lot of credit to the Georgian pack, I think. But he's become such an important player. I mean, he's one of the most. I think he's the most experienced player in the pack. He's played 85 tests. So yeah, I think I'm judging on a 4 for Evan. As I said, I think if he wasn't playing, we wouldn't have missed him. So I'll go 4 there. 5.5. That's interesting. So people have gone quite high for Etzebeth. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. I think a 5 maybe I could have gone with, but 5.5. Look, it's not a great rating. I think that's the lowest. No, Ox and Che got a 5. I don't think Ox was worse than Evan. I think that we come to expect a lot better from Evan. So tonight was not great by his standards. On the contrary, I thought Franco Moster was very, very good, by the way. I think he won every single line out. I think he carried the ball up well. He's that engine, that V12, that diesel he's got, he's a bit of a tractor. He just doesn't stop, does he? He made 7 carries, 6 tackles, 2 turnovers, 3 tackles missed, so maybe that's something to worry about, but he just never stops. Glasswise, didn't think Evan was very good today. I'd give him a 4. I went there. Alba so what happened to Evan tonight? Seriously, unexpectedly bad. I don't know. It was weird. I'm hoping it was just an off day and he'll sort himself out, because I agree. I think it was pretty uncharacteristically poor from what is often considered. I mean, we've got 4 of the 5 best locks in the world, and I think sometimes we often look at Evan as probably the best of them. And he's supposed to be our new Bucky's Boerter enforcer type, but tonight he enforced very, very little. Franco Moss, I'm almost leaning towards an 8. Maybe I'm thinking, I don't know, leaning towards 7 and 8. I think 6 is average, so he wasn't average. I thought he was pretty good. trying to think of how many people I would go higher than an 8. So maybe a 7 would be solid for Franco. But yeah, that V12 just put in a lot of 7, which I think, yeah, I reckon people are probably going to go 7.5. Yeah, so some people have gone with 8s. Some people have gone with 8s. We haven't been too far away here. I think with the only one we've been far apart was Etzebeth. But apart from that, we seem to be almost on the same page. So that gives me a lot of relief. It makes me think that I'm not just talking out of my ass and nobody's agreeing with what I think. But this is why we do it, so we can get some perspective. Our mayor says Monster plays like his last minute in his last game of his life every time. Workhorse. Oh, he's brilliant. There's a reason. I mean, Lions, he was a cult hero at the Lions because we just every single match against much better opposition, and despite losing, despite being outplayed, he'll just get up every single time. He'll hit every single. You talk about. I mean, Arceus Neyman is a monster of a player, but he's quick. He's got handling, and he's quite flashy. That is the most traditional lock in Franco Mostert. He will do every single hard, grimy, gritty, horrible job he has to do to allow others to flourish. He does absolutely nothing pretty. He's not the best looking chap himself, and I think that's very sort of representative of the game he plays. But the grunt he provides and the dirty work he does is so underappreciated. And yeah, I'm very, very chuffed that you got given the chance for the box. And he's one of those players. I mean, how do you drop him? How do you leave him out of a squad? I mean, when you know that you're going to get an 18-minute performance every single week, this consistency is second to none, really. Capitano, Sia Khaleesi. I thought he had a very good game. I thought he worked very, very hard. And I was really chuffed to see him out in the wide channels because he's a very good ball carrier. And I think that we sometimes, with having Beast and Tauriera, having Bongi, having Eben Etzebeth, having P-Steph Toy, having Dwayne Vermeulen, we didn't really use Khaleesi much as a ball carrier in the World Cup. Not as much as I think we should have. But he's got a good turn of pace, got a nice step, and he's good handling. And I think we saw some very nice moments for him out wide. And I'm hoping that that's a little bit reminiscent of what's to come because he can do something out wide. I thought he worked very, very hard. He made four carries, but 6 tackles. Didn't miss a tackle. He doesn't miss tackles. 22 meters gained, 2 defenders beaten. Yeah, I'm going to go with a solid 7 for Sia. I reckon we'll probably set 7. Yep, so I'm bang on with everybody. We're all agreeing with a 7 for Sia. Solid. I'm enjoying this. Good to see that we're on the same wavelength. Putting course here says Sia 7. Oh, there we go. Sia's a brilliant edge forward, excellent at free in the arms and tackle and offloading. Well, that's the thing. He's got a nice set of hands. And that's why I like to see him out in the wings because I think he's somebody who offers a lot of power. So, he'll cut inside, but he can get in between the wing and often outside center. And, if you've got Roscoe Speckman outside him, little pass out there and away you go. So, look, I don't think anyone was 10 out of 10 tonight, which I think is probably why I'm going with probably 1 down maybe from everything. I mean, I think that Fassi will probably get the best rating, but, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a 10 out of 10 performance because I think that maybe that sounds harsh, but I think that he could have done more because he just didn't have as much ball. I think we'll look at his carries. I'm not sure how many carries he made, but when he did have the ball, he was sublime. But I would have liked to have seen him. I think of a 10 out of 10 performance. I think Dwayne Vermeulen World Cup final. I think P-Steph Toy Wellington. I think those sort of like stand out. My goodness, that's a performance for the ages type performance. I think that's got to be a 10. That's going to be our standard. We're going to set the standard right here. That's going to be our standard. When we think of like a stand-up performance over the years, I think of Elton Jantjies. I think it was Highlanders semi-final Super Rugby. When he kicked like 35 points and he's stupid. Like those sort of performances. P-Steph Toy, what a monster. What an absolute monster. Sorry, Grant Swart saying Sia was really good today. Much better than what we saw from it at the Sharks. 100% 8 for Sia for me. Yeah, I'm tending to sort of go a bit low because I want to try and give us space to go up there. Albert Mayer's agreeing with Grant Swartz. I mean, P-Steph Toy, he's just a giant. He's just an absolute unit. So let's see what he got up to today. I think he made 11. Yeah, he made 11 carries, 8 tackles, missed 2. Slap on the wrist. 46 meters gained, 2 defenders beaten, 1 clean break, 1 try assist. I think P-Steph Toy is probably one of the 2 best players on the field today. So I'm going to go with a 9, I think, for P-Steph. Maybe an 8. Nah, I think he was very good. I think he was very, very good. Try assist as well. Nah, I got to give him a 9. Hey, well, there we go. There we go. I tell you what, should I just turn the camera off, let you guys do this? Because, we know our stuff. We know our stuff. Yeah, good to see him. Especially good to see how quickly he's gone up to fitness when you think about how long he was out. So to have been out for that long and to be able to come back and put in performances like he has at the Stormers, like he has now for the Boks tonight, it's really good to see from him. I mean, yeah, as Tiaan van den Berg says there, you know, like they were talking about the fact he might never play rugby again, and yet here he is. Somebody I would love to interview and get into his mind and how he thinks, except for the fact that I think he speaks about 4 words of English and I speak about 4 words of Afrikaans, so it could be quite a short conversation. Kwagga Smith. I don't know. I don't know about Kwagga. I think that he didn't. You know, I think he's a player who's got a very interesting role to play. Because I think that if you don't have Steven Kitshoff on the field and you don't have Dwayne Vermeulen on the field, you've got to have a fetcher. You're not going to have Mark Overstad on the field much with Siya Kolisi. So Kwagga Smith offers something interesting, but I thought he just didn't get into the game much today, did he? I didn't think he was bad in anything he did. He scored a try, so you know we've got to put him up there because he scored a try. But he made 8 carries, 27 meters, 2 passes, 4 defenders beaten, 1 try, 6 tackles. He didn't miss a tackle, hey, and a turnover 1. So I'm sort of flashing around a 6 or a 7. I mean, he scored a try, so for me that always kind of gives you an extra 1. So I would have given him a 6, but he did score a try, 4 defenders beaten. As Grant Swart said, I agree. So, of course, he's saying Smith 5.5. I'm going to go higher than that. I think I'm going at least a 6, maybe a 7. Grant Swart saying that the game didn't go quite his way. Yeah, I think it was a game which it was difficult because similar to Ox, similar to Kwagga, it wasn't an open game. You know, the more open it gets, the more you would see somebody like Kwagga Smith really getting into it. You know, like a Barbarians game. When he played for the Barbarians and he played the All Blacks off their feet, I think he won about 5 turnovers that day. He was unbelievable because the game was open, because they played a very open brand of rugby. So I think that he'll suit the British and Irish Lions more, who looks like they want to play a bit more expansive than Georgia does. Because I think when the game gets a bit more expansive and there's more sort of space and there's more sort of one-on-one tackling and stuff like that, that's when he comes into his element. But when it's tight and there's always, you know, three forwards in every carry, and suddenly, and that was the problem, because every single carry from Georgia was like, even the backline players, as soon as they were carrying, they had a player like right behind them, rucking over, stuff like that. It wasn't a case of going out wide, drawing players in, and maybe making a one-on-one tackle where Kwagga Smith can dive over that ball, or we can find a half gap on the defense. So I'm going to go with a 7 for him. I'm thinking, or should I go 6? I'll go with a 6. I'll go with a 6. I think I gave Franco Masters a 7, so I'll go with a 6 for Kwagga. There we go. I tell you, it's good to all be on the same page. A little bit of advertising there, trying to give us a bit of cash. Should we just click on it? No, I'm joking. Kobus Reinach scored a very, very nice try. I thought he was very good. I think, I tell you what though, I was very impressed with Elton Jantjies came off the bench. So, look, he scored a try, so he's always going to get that extra 1. Again, it's difficult to look at sort of stats. He made 54 passes. Scrum off, can't expect that. 1 defender beaten, 24 meters made, 3 tackles made, not 1 missed. Had some good moments, but I wasn't blown away by him. Look, put it this way: Fat de Klerk doesn't watch that match and think my spot is in jeopardy. So I gave Kwagga Smith a 6, and he scored a try. He got a 6, so I'll go with 6 for Kobus. I think maybe people might go a bit higher. Nope, we're on 6. We're on a 6. We're on the same page, people. We're on the same page. We're all good here. Andre Pollard. He kicked, missed 1. Grass was a 7 for Reinach. He didn't really do anything wrong. Yeah, it's true. Fair point. He didn't do much wrong. Yeah, I said I like to be on the harsher side so that we've got a bit of space to grow into. Pollard. He was good. He was solid. It was nice to see that he's looking. Look, he doesn't look off the pace. I think that's probably the main thing. We don't have to worry about him being off the pace or anything like that. Kicking success was 80%. Tackling success was 3 out of 3. 4 conversions, 10 meters game, 1 defender beaten, 1 offload, 13 passes. Yeah, I probably should have gone a 7 for Reynold. I'm probably going to go for a 7 for Pollard. I think that he was solid. He was good. Look, the backline, apart from Fassi, I thought was more or less pretty average. So I'm going to go with 7. As I said, he looked, for somebody who hasn't played a lot of rugby, he looked very sharp. What's everybody reckoning in the chat here? Footing Course, he's saying Pollard 8. Brandon Slater going 7. Temperberg probably looking sharp for me, a solid 7. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 7 there. I reckon we're all smack bang on that 7. 6.5, interesting. So some people going with 6s. Look, he didn't he didn't knock the door down. I think maybe people obviously, I mean, it didn't help that Elton Jantjies came off and didn't look particularly good. But yeah, I think he's got. I think we didn't see the best of Pollard. We could see better from him. Alvin Mayer, Pollard 7. Grantwell, I thought Pollard was really good for someone still coming back from injury. He going with an 8, so he went with an 8 there. Some people going for 6s down there. Could be even lower than for some people. Next up, we've got Apelele Fassi, the weekend special on debut, try and assist. And I'm not going to give a 10. I'm not going to give a 10. It sounds harsh. It sounds harsh. I'm not going to give a 10 though. Because I want 10 to be that Siya Khaleesi performance when he bosses the Lions in the last test to win the series. All that even Etzebeth putting like Mario Toji on his backside like 5 times, you know, that kind of performance. So I'm going to go with I think I'm probably going to go with a 9 for Fassi. I mean, how can you give him much less? He only had to make 1 tackle. Look, I suppose he didn't actually get that many carries. But 2 clean breaks, 2 defenders beaten, 78 meters gained, a try assist, a try as well. You got to give him a 9. I'll give him 8 for maybe all-around play, but I'm going to give him a 9 because you got a try and a try assist. So we'll go with a 9 for. Oh, I'm not going to give a 9. 9 for Apelele Fassi. Let's see what everybody else reckons. 8.5. Okay, so I went a little bit on the high side. Grant Swats is going with a 9. And Brandon Slater's going with Fassi 7, so we're kind of sitting in the middle. I think he was very good. I think that we couldn't have asked much from him. I think with the right amount of ball and the right opportunities, he could have pushed for that 10 out of 10 performance. But I think that, unfortunately, and we'll get to him, I think our outside centre could find himself on the bench if he's lucky next week. Francois, Mr. Veteran. He had a strange game, didn't he? He had a very odd game. It was a very strange role. I mean, he was sitting at first receiver a lot of the times. But, I mean, yeah, 30 meters gained, 6 passes, 3 defenders beaten, 3 tackles, 1 turnover won, 2 turnovers conceded. I didn't think he was that good. I thought our centers were actually pretty ordinary. I thought that was probably one of the weaker performances we've seen our centers. I think that we'd be quite keen to see Adelendi and Lekanyo Ambak sooner rather than later. France, I think, was probably better than I think he was better than JC Creel. I got frustrated at JC Creel. I'm gonna go with a solid. I gave a 6 for Kwacha, so I've got to give it a 5 for France Dane. 4 maybe is a bit low. Yeah, we'll go with a 5. We're going with a 5. I'll tell you what though, he doesn't have a good turn of pace, eh? I mean, he's getting the ball and he's like trying to cut inside, and it's like a bloody moving bus is trying to move. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous. He is built like a bloody loose forward these days. I really like him though. He's such a nice guy, so it's difficult to say anything negative about him. Got a massive boot as well. But yeah, it wasn't his best game. Hopefully, I think he's better off the bench, to be honest. Because he's very composed and he obviously has that big boot. He's very good for exit plays and stuff like that. JC Creel. I like JC Creel as a player. And I think that, you know, he's someone with the right opportunity could play himself into the starting spot. But he had a poor game, I thought. I thought that when you've got Roscoe Speckman, you've got Apelele Fassi, we literally had 2 playmakers and 2 players and 2 distributors in. And they literally had Frans Steyn at 10 going to Andre Pollard. And I think the reason was to try and go out wide quickly because we knew there was going to be space there. And yet, Roscoe Speckman maybe got the ball twice. Maybe. So I thought that I was really frustrated. I think when you've got the quality of Speckman and Apelele Fassi, you use them. Bring them into the game. And unfortunately, JC Creel is very much a crash ball runner. And the problem is you've got a crash ball runner next to a crash ball runner. So you've got JC Creel who crashes it up. You've got France Steyn who crashes it up. When do our wings get the ball? When do our wings get to get? I mean, when you think of Lekanya and the offload game he's got, I think if Lekanya was playing, I think that we see Willie Leroux play better. I think we see Roscoe Speckman making yards. I think we see Apelele Fassi making yards. I mean, I think Roscoe Speckman might get dropped for next weekend just because I think they want to put Jason Colby and Marcus on the Pimpy back in. But it's so harsh because he had a debut and just didn't get any ball. He sat on the wing and waved it. I mean, he could have just set up and have a cup of tea. Could have had a dinner, you know. It was frustrating to see somebody with so much talent and you know, creativity sit on the wing and kind of watch things go. And that's kind of how I feel about the Sharks when I watch the Sharks play. Where you got Cohen Bosch, who just lifts it up to the boot. Not I'm saying it's Cohen Bosch's fault, but the Sharks game plan where Cohen Bosch puts up and unders for Yao Penkley and Spirin Corsi. We're back, I think. Sorry, I don't know what's going on there. That was strange. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 5 for Jesse. Jesse Creel 5.5. I don't think Creel was too bad. France didn't really put Creel in any sort of space. Yeah, true. But I do think he could have distributed a little bit more. Maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm going to go with a 5. Probably be sitting at about 5.5. Yeah, fair enough. I was probably going harsh. As I said, I have been going sort of one down for a lot of them. Roscoe. Roscoe. I think immediately I'm putting Roscoe on a 5. I think it's harsh to give somebody a 4 when they didn't get the opportunity. I think, you know, I mean, when we think of who we given a 4 to, I think we gave a 4 to Evan, and I think we gave a 4. I think it was just Oxen got a 5. Evan, I think it was just Evan I gave a 4 to. So I think that for Roscoe, yeah, it has to be a 5, doesn't it? You know, he didn't have a great game, but he didn't have anything to do. So, you know, you can't really blame him when he didn't get a lot of opportunity. And look, I mean, he did. I mean, for somebody who didn't get a lot of opportunity, I think he still managed to beat 3 defenders. He looked excited when he got the ball. So give him the ball. You know, 3 defenders beaten, 1 clean break. Yeah, so it has to be a 5. You can't just slap them in the middle. And there we go. We all in agreement with that. Cool. Willie Leroux. He's a frustrating player. Hey? I don't think he had his best game. I got a message when somebody said this is prime 2015 Willie Leroux. He said Willie Leroux is very 2015. Yeah, it's just difficult for Willie. He just doesn't seem to be kind of coming right. You can see he's trying really hard. Look, I tell you what, he was very good under the high ball. He was very, very, very good under the high ball. So I think that deserves quite a lot of credit because I think that I think he was actually quite good tonight. I think he was trying a lot. I think a lot of things could have gone his way. It's a tricky one. I actually don't know where I sit with Willie. I thought, as I said, he was very good under the high ball, but maybe could have done more. I mean, what are the statistics saying? 20 meters gained, 12 passes, 2 defenders beaten, 1 clean break. One tackle missed, 2 turnovers, 2 turnovers conceded. I never understand what's going on with that turnovers conceded metric. Billy, I'm kind of flittering it around a 6, maybe a 7. 7? Yeah, I'm putting it with 7. I'm actually. I think I'm being a bit harsh. I'm going to go with 7. I think he was always well positioned. He was always in the right area. He was very good under the high ball. I'll give Billy a 7. I think he'll probably be sitting at around 6.5. So maybe but I think that's fair. I think Tian van den Berg says, think the Twitter mob tends to be a few harsher on Billy than he deserves. Yeah, look, there's certain players that people just attack quite quickly. I think Billy Leroux's one. Obviously, Khaleesi's one. We've seen it a lot. Elton Jantjies is always one which divides a lot of opinion. I think Damian Willemse is one that divides a lot of opinion as well. But I think Billy Leroux was solid, but nothing special. But I thought he was very good under the high ball, and I think that counts for quite a lot. And then we're moving on to our bench. It's always difficult to rate the bench. Some of them don't get a lot of time. But Malcolm Marx and Steven Kitshoff and Frans Malherbe, well, they all came off to very good effect. So I think you're probably giving them all 7s. But I'm giving them all 7s, I think. I think they came on and they decimated that Georgian scrum. Malcolm Marx got himself a try as well. So Malcolm Marx came off. He had 5 carries, a try, made 4 tackles, didn't miss a tackle, 1 turnover as well. I'm leaning towards a 7. Francois, I think 6 for Willie. His value is in his communication with the back three. You listen to the young block wingers; they all appreciate Willie's help. Yeah, no, I think there's a big. He's playing a big part of that. He's very much part of the future generation and guiding the future generation. So he's very important to Springbok rugby. But yeah, we were sitting about Malcolm Marx. I think I started 7 is about right. I thought he was very good. I thought him and Bongi were pretty good. But you've got. They came on and made such a difference. So. We gave Fassi a 9. We gave Peace Dave the Toy a 9. Who did we give 8 to? So if I give them a 7, who are they being compared to? Has anybody else got 7s here? Sia Khaleesi got a 7. Franco Master got a 7.5. So those are sort of who they related to. So were the front row better than Sia Khaleesi and Franco Mostert? I think 7 is probably fair. As I said, I'm telling you to go 1 down. So I'll go 7 for Mostert. For Marks, I'm going to go 7 Khaleesi as well. They all agree. I'm going to go 7 for France Malherbe as well. There we go. There we go. Nice and easy. Nothing complicated about us. We're straight to the point. Get these things done. Marvin, he was average. I think he was the definition of average. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't do a hell of a lot. He made 7 carries. Made 3 tackles, made a pass, and an offload. He missed 3 tackles though, so I'm kind of working at around a 5 for Marvin. He was decent at the line-out time. Made a couple of carries. His scrum cap looked terrible, so maybe we should mark him down for that. I just think he had a chance to try and make it an impact, and he just didn't really. I think he was probably better than Etzebeth. I think somebody said in the comments earlier, I think he probably is better than Etzebeth. He probably did have a better game than Etzebeth, and we gave Etzebeth a 4, I think. So I think we'll go with 5 for Marvin. Maybe a 6 would have been fairer. We'll probably sit in a 5. There we go. So we're agreeing on a 5. Jasper Wiese. I thought Jasper Wiese was very good when he came on. He made a lot of carries for somebody who was only on for a few minutes. He made 21 minutes and he made 5 carries. So he was making a carry every 4 minutes, basically. He also made 5 tackles, didn't miss a single one. On debut, 1 defender beaten, 21 meters gained. I'm circling around a 7 for Jasper, maybe even I don't know, an 8 for 21 minutes. It's difficult to get somebody an 8 for 21 minutes. I feel like you got to blow the door down to get an 8 after 21 minutes. But he was very good when he came on. I think that he'll probably get a start next week. We're reckoning. I'm sort of sitting there between those two. Can I just click in the middle? No, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, I kind of give him a 7.5. I feel like a 7.5 is a decent one. I'll go with 7. Let's not get too carried away. Let's not try and build too much of a hype train. 6.5. I'm surprised by that. I thought he was very good when he came on. Yeah, that one surprises me. Because I thought he was very. I didn't think he. I thought he probably made the biggest impact off the bench. He was the most noticeable for me. He came on. Well, the next one we'll talk about as well. Elton Jantjies. He looked so much better today than I've seen him play all season. And it's quite funny because you see a lot of people on Twitter all of a sudden who actually haven't watched a lot of the games this season suddenly saying, "Oh, I forgot how phenomenal of a player Herschel is." But he's been struggling a little bit for the Stormers. It hasn't been his best game. So I was very impressed with Herschel. I thought that he looked very, very good. I thought his distribution looked very good. He was a bit of a live wire. He injected a lot of pace to the game. He kicked 5 times, 3 meters gained, 30 passes. So it's actually a lot more passes per minute than Renock was making because he played 26 minutes. And so Herschel played 26 minutes and made 30 passes, whereas Renock played, 54 minutes and 54 minutes and made 56 passes. So I'm kind of leaning towards an 8 for Herschel. I thought he looked very, very good. Ironically, a lot of people saying that that Kobus now needs to replace Herschel on the bench because Herschel hasn't been very good. But ironically, I thought Herschel actually looked better today than Kobus did in many ways. So I'm kind of leaning towards an 8 for Herschel. Where are we sitting on here with Hirsch? He just looked like he had a spark. He scored a try, so you got to push him up to an 8, don't you? You know what? I'm going with the 8. 7.5. There we go. So I wasn't too far off. Putting Corsi said Herschel 7.5. Yup, decent shout. The Lord Elton. Yeah, I didn't have a good game, did he? Came on. Look, I'll tell you what he did do. He kicked very nicely for touch 3 times, I think. He made some very nice touch finders. Didn't find touch the one time when he was trying to take it quickly. Butchered a pass to Herschel, to Roscoe. Yeah, it wasn't his day. It just wasn't his day. Pity. I will always love Elton Jantjies. He'll go down as one of my best Tim van den Berg racing youngsters above Master. That's a good shout, actually. Yeah, I probably should have gone 7 for Herschel in hindsight. Yeah, maybe brought into the hype a little bit. All about the hype train, eh? Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't really care about a bad performance from Elton because I know he can bounce back. He's done it. I've been watching Elton since he was a 21-year-old winning the Currie Cup and getting him out of the match in 2011. And we know that he has this performance in him. We know that he can be really bad because we know that he can also then be world class. You know, we've seen the Elton which has crumbled behind a bad pack, and we've seen the Elton that comes on in New Zealand to spark the comeback and we win. So probably a 3 for him today. Just didn't have a good game at the end of the day. Looked a bit rusty. I'm trying to sort of think. I actually want to go and check how many games he actually ended up playing in France, because they were being so worried about Pollard. I think that he was kind of with Rusty and Jacques, and they kind of told him, listen, go and play top 14. And I think in hindsight, it would have been a much better idea for him to have stayed and played the Rainbow Cup, because he ended up playing 3 games in the top 14. So he played 186 minutes, So he's played since what? The Currie Cup, basically. I don't even think he played in the preparation series. So since the Currie Cup, he's had 186 minutes. I think Pollard's had more than that in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I think that turned out to be a terrible rule. And he did look very rusty today. So, I mean, we'll go with a 3 for the Yankees. 3.5. Yeah, it's fine. I could have gone with a 4. But I just think that he was worse than Evan. I wouldn't drop him, though. I don't, as I said, I think he's a player that'll be fine. I'm still not convinced about the Mornay stage shot. I worry that he doesn't have the pace to be able to keep up. Elton, shame. Albert Mason, Elton when he was good, he's great. When he's not, well, let's keep. Yeah, it's true though. But he is. He's mercurial. It's the same as a Finn Russell. It's all these sort of very attacking flower halves, because they try so many different things. Because they try things that other people maybe shouldn't sometimes. When it goes their way, they can be absolutely sublime. When it doesn't go their way, they can look really, really bad. And in South Africa, people tend to sort of like the safe option. They like the Pollards, they like the Mornay Steins, they like the Tim Sweels of the world. Very safe, very sort of stock standard. Nothing too expensive. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Elton. I mean, he'll get absolutely ripped apart on Twitter. I think I've never seen a player so unfairly abused throughout his entire career. I think hopefully in the last year he's been treated a little bit better. But this whole thing of it's just stupid comments that we get on the stream, like, oh, he shouldn't be playing club level, and that's just dumb. Let's not be stupid. But on the other hand, I was very, very impressed with Damian Willemse. I've been calling for it. Up on the stream, we've been saying, can we see Damian inside centre? Because we know he's not a fly half. I don't understand why we would want to make him a fly half. Don't give him the responsibility. This man's got a step gifted to him. You go watch his school highlights, and everybody go watch his school highlights. He's got a phenomenal fly half. And you watch the school highlights, and it's got nothing to do with him being a fly half. He's not putting people into space. He's not pegging people back with a phenomenal kicking game. He's not negotiating things. He's got a wicked step, and he's quite big. I think he's about 93, 94 kgs. So, but I was pretty impressed with him today. I'm kind of leaning towards a 7 for him. I thought that he looked very good at inside centre. I'd like to see more of him there. I think the Stormers, they've got Rick Pretorius and Dan du Plessis, which is the issue. But as the Stormers, I would have preferred to have seen like a fly half coming in and seeing more of David Willemse at inside centre, especially when Warwick Galant comes back. Because I think that Willemse he's just got something. He's a very different type of inside centre to what we normally see. He's not really a crash ball runner. He's more sort of fleet-footed. He's not really Damien De Lindy or Ivan Esterhuizen. But he's a nice player, very nice player. So I'm kind of leaning towards a 7 for Damian. Where we all sitting with Damian? It's the last rating, people. It's the last rating. Yeah, are we agreeing with my 7 shot? What are we thinking here, people? It's the last rating. before we do this again tomorrow for the Lions versus the Liu. The Liu versus the Lions. And yeah, sure, I can go. I can go the Liu and the Lions. No, I'll probably just butcher that as well. Yeah, I'm going to go with 7 for Damian. I was pretty impressed with him. 6? Nah, that's harsh. That's harsh. Harsh. Boo. Boo. 6.5 I could agree with. I think 6 is harsh. Because 6 means that a lot of people are rating him at like 5. Considering that I've gone with 7. Luke McKay 7, Tim Berg, Polly 10, Willemse 12, Similani 13, Fussy 15. Stop it, I like it. Stop it, I like it. Yeah, I'd like to see that actually. And then throw in a who are some of our up and coming wings. Tell you what, if he's playing like this, throw in a McClana there at 14, Spoo and Corsi maybe. Oh, we have McClana at 11 and Corsi at 14. That would be a backline with an average age of about 24. Ew. Oof, we get a bit of shivers here. This is a bit of, obviously, I mean, we've still got Ches and Makazolo, and you never know. We might even have a P with Jantjies back at some stage. Who knows? Who knows? Grant Swartz, a 7 for Venom offers something different. I think he can replace France in a 6-2 split bench. I agree. I think Rassi agrees. I think that's why he's in the box setup, and I think that's why he's been in the box setup for a long time, because they know that he offers a lot of versatility. I worry that we kind of do the South African thing where we go and say, you are this fantastic utility back, and he never settles. We've done that to players, Goosen, Lambie. There's another Sharks player I'm thinking of who also had a similar issue. So that's my only worry about him. I'd like to see him more at inside centre. I don't know where he's going to play for the Stormers, because you're going to have Warwick Galant at fullback. As I said, you've got Dan du Plessis and Ricky Pretorius at inside centre, and then you've got Jean de Jong at outside centre. So unless you start training Willemse as an outside centre and take over from de Jong, I don't know how they're gonna sort of put everybody together there at the Stormers. Look, it's a nice problem to have. I mean, he'll probably go back to fly half, but I don't like him at fly half. I'm gonna stay away from fly half. If he has to, he can do it. But I really like him. He's got a bit more space, and he's allowed to take the ball up himself and not expected to try and. I also just don't think his kicking game is good enough for fly. I think he can do very nicely at the centre. And I think he makes do with it at fullback, but I don't think he's got the kicking game for a fullback. I mean, for a fly half. And there we have it, people. Our first ever rating show. I want to add one more feature soon where we'll be able to pick our man of the match. Unfortunately, this thing it costs money to get these sort of things developed. So we'll work on that. But I'm really, really chuffed that people seem to be liking the idea, and we'll be doing this a lot more. The idea will be doing all this, and then right at the end over here, we'll be able to pick our man of the match. And then that'll kind of do that. So to summarize, let's see what we've got here. So we said Ox was a 5, Bongi 6.5, Trevor 6.5, Etzebeth 5.5. I think that's a bit. I think that's nice on him. Franco Master 7.5, Siaklisi 7, P Steph 9, Quacker Smith 6, Corbus Reynolds 6, Pollard 6.5, Fussy 8.5, France Stain 5, Jesse Creel 5.5, Roscoe Speckman 5. Brewery 6.5, Valkenbach 7, Stephen Kitzel 7, Franz Mahova 7, Marvin Ori 5, That's Big Visa 6.5, Hershey Yankees 7.5, Elton Jantjies 3.5, Damian Willemse. So Peter Steph, the toy getting the highest rating of the day, followed closely by Apple Fassi, who I think got an 8.5 if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And the lowest of the day was Elton Jantjies with a 3.5. Hopefully he can bounce back. People, it is 11 in South Africa. It's been a long, long day of content. We will have the Fussy and the what's his name? Franco Mostert. We'll have Fussy and Franco Mostert. In fact, I've just gotten it now, so it looks like we'll be able to give you. This piece of breaking news here. Breaking news and what I can give you. Yeah. I'll be able to. Okay, I'm going to give you the Ninabar and Khaleesi conference now. That'll be up in literally. Give me 10 minutes and I'll put it up, and then I'll keep Fussy and Mustard for some Saturday morning viewing. We can, as Fussy reflects on his debut and stuff like that. In terms of tomorrow, I can't actually tell you what we're doing before the Lions game. I actually don't know. I haven't really decided. We won't be doing New Zealand versus Tonga because I'm going to watch it in bed. No, I won't. But I've got a lot of stuff to do. I need to do for the Lions. So we won't do the New Zealand versus Tonga live. What we might do is, I'm trying to decide if I want to do maybe you can tell me. Would you rather be live for the SA Under 20 versus Argentina, or would you rather do Ireland versus Japan? Where are we sort of sitting on the fence? I can't guarantee that we will do it live. It depends on if I'm up to date with my line stuff. But those are sort of the two games I'm kind of flitting between. Not quite sure which one I want to do tomorrow, if we do one of them at all. Unfortunately, the people that like Lakanya and Sean are quite busy this weekend. So they won't be able to do much tomorrow. But then, yeah, we'll be live. Hoppers 5 for Lions versus Lions. Hoppers kickoff at 6 so until 8. We'll be getting you the post-match press conference from the Lions. Still trying to work on trying to get access to the British and Irish Lions. Proving to be quite difficult. Saying that, they have to be official broadcasts and stuff like that, of which we are technically not yet. We'll get there. And then we'll probably do this again tomorrow night. I think if we can't have a fan forum where we can get the other guys on and do a bit of a panel show, then we'll probably do this again tomorrow night. We will definitely be doing the ratings, and I'll have the link in the description to rate both sides. I want to try and see if I can get them in columns. So as you can see, so you can almost sort of go loose head versus loose head, tight head versus tight head, that type of thing. I want to try and see if I can get that done. But yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow. So hopefully we can get some more people onto the stream. We had a fantastic, as I said, I cannot get over how awesome the stream was tonight. I mean, we've gone over 2,000 subscribers. It's been an amazing day. I'm going to go to sleep very, very well. So I'm hoping tomorrow we can get a similar sort of reaction, because it really was very special to have everybody up on the stream. So other messaging, Ireland versus Japan. Well, yeah, let me know. I'll put out a poll. In fact, I'll put it up a poll on the channel. And if I am available and if I am feeling organized, I'll go live for one of those games. Sunday, unfortunately, I'm working, so I won't be able to go live for any of those games. But I'll try and see if Sean or Lakanya can maybe talk us through. But we will have some more content up on Friday and stuff like that. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your evenings. Have a fantastic half an hour left of your Friday night. Have a fantastic Saturday morning. Go into the black market and get some of these. Go into the black market and get some of this. We do not endorse any of this, by the way. We are not in any way affiliated nor sponsored by Clipjet or any sort of brands. We would love to be. So get in touch if you're involved in any of them, particularly the booze brands. But it sounds like Ireland versus Japan is the one that everybody wants. So we'll see you guys all tomorrow. If not for the Ireland versus Japan, then we'll be live for the Lions. Enjoy it. Enjoy tomorrow morning. Have a great night. Have a great morning. Stay safe. Stay at home and all that. And see you guys soon.